out and speaking in such a way where they can feel your words. So that when I say the word feel your words, it's actually they might see your words or hear your words or smell. So it's actually a sensory exploration. It's the six senses. So for me, the words aren't just about the words, it's what's beneath the words, what isn't being said here that can be felt.
Oh, I love that. The chi behind the words, but also the space that is created, hence why pausing between words. To give time for that energy to be absorbed or connected, and also hello, welcome in to another edition of Chi Time, your conscious living show. This is the show that likes to dive into the energy behind everything that we do and look at the resourcing that we can give ourselves through our breath, through the earth that we're in, the environment that we're around, and also noticing the abundance that we have on our beautiful planet, and the friendships that are here for us too. And on this episode, I have for you a delightful woman who, whenever I hang out with her, she feels like a really close friend. I'm talking about Wendy Fry. I first met her about, 3 or 4 years ago now, when she came down to Conscious Living events, and herself and Miguel Dean, who's interestingly on next week's show, we did an evening with the three of us called 20 Minutes Max. And Wendy was delivering some of her fantastic information. She's an author and she's a coach. And this is one of her books, Find You, Find Love, which with using EFT. She's a complete star at that. You know, you see her, go to any of her presentations and she will have you centered, aligned and organized. And today, because we're talking about wordplay, one of my favorite topics, Wendy is, as I said, not only an author herself, but she's also a coach for other people to be able to become real true expressions of their heart and become authors in their own right. So let's welcome to Chi Time, Wendy Fry. Hello, my darling. How you doing?
Hello. So it's so lovely to reconnect with you, Clara, and to be here and to share the love with you and all of those who are listening and viewing. It's a real privilege. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. And since I last saw you, I think both our hair has grown. I've had to put mine up. It's so flipping long now. And yours is going, whoo.
Yeah, it's
it's a good feeling though, isn't it? To be
isn't
kind of free in the hair department.
free.
Yeah. But following on from the earlier interview here with Lloyd from eharmony, where she was talking about how wordplay really is such an attractive quality for people to have when they go onto dating sites. It's like, I wonder what your thoughts are about that.
Yeah, I love it. And what was really interesting with listening to Rachel speak is that I mean, you know that I've also been on internet dating, and words are very powerful. So words can either draw you in or in some ways repel you, and you may not connect with that person either through what's not written or what is written. And just recently I will share, you know, the joy of my heart. I have met somebody online, and part of the attraction for me was within his profile, he wrote some beautiful words along the lines of he was looking for not just anybody, but actually looking for somebody who was more than a stone's throw and less than a lifetime away. And when I repeat now the words I read, you know, there's emotion in my heart in terms of energy, chi, you know, the hairs on my arms are up on end, because those words really connected with me in a way far more than like what somebody might do, let's say, as a hobby. So on the dating sites, you know, the comparisons or the way people are being matched up, whatever dating site it is, you know, what you have in common. And it's very beautiful for me to be able to connect with someone who's able to share the words of their heart. You know, we've all kind of got these experiences from the past which either lift us up or pull us down. But when my experiences is when we're future focused and we're thinking about actually what's the best that can happen here. For me, the best that can happen is I continue to communicate from my heart, and I've met someone who I believe can communicate through his. And And I will just share this, if I may. I was gifted this beautiful heart rock. So any of you that know me well, I'm a keen walker and photographer. And, you know, words and gifts as precious as this mean so very much. So in terms of the words that we say inwardly, and in terms of the words we say outwardly, there's much that we can say that leaves a positive legacy or a positive imprint, despite all the other words we may have heard in our past. So I'm just so grateful to come on and talk about words, because I could talk and speak and write about words forever, I think.
I knew you were the woman for the job. And you've just illustrated this beautiful kind of quality that we have when we resonate with the words inside us and we make intentions and we're truthfully running from our hearts, then the universe responds with things like your beautiful heart-shaped rock or something. You know, things happen, don't they? I was thinking the other thing, like that white feathers often come down and remind you that spirit is there. And I'm going to sit up a bit here for those of you who are watching this on video, because I've got my silver feather on, and I'm just going to have a little play with words now, because yes. this phrase, this is the humour bit, lightening it all, is I heard once, I don't know how many years ago this was, but it always makes me smile, that when you play with how words sound, you know, a bit yes. Alliteration, that if you said tickle your ass with a feather, what did she just say?
I think I felt that.
And actually it's like, oh no, particularly nasty weather. Yeah, well, you've got to have fun. Actually, I really feel like it would be very good now, before we get deeper into what it is you're doing, but thank you for sharing that story, is that if we play that track by Tom Tom Club,
that's hilarious.
It is the Wordy Rappinghood, which we've just been playing between us the last little while, and I can't believe it's 1981 this track came out.
Yeah.
And this is the rhythm section from Talking Heads, Tom Tom Club. This is Tina and Chris and their mates. So let's play some Wordy Rappinghood, because it's just such good fun. And we'll come back with Wendy Fry after that.
Brilliant.
Back in after a bit of Wordy Rappinghood by Tom Tom Club. Oh my goodness, that is so full, isn't it? Of such wonderful wordplay. I had to be part of this show here with Wendy Fry. So one of the things that came through that, apart from like, you know, What a Word's Worth, which I just think is a brilliant play and use and connection, and reusing, you know, Wordsworth being such a wordsmith, and then actually questioning what are words worth, a lot from that resonance perspective, but also that feeling of using different languages that we touched on when I was chatting with Rachel Lloyd earlier, how we can pepper our language with other languages. Do you do that in what you do? Is that something that happens?
Yes. When I'm writing, so if I'm writing, the genre is self-help that I write, and if I'm writing, I will write and put my avatar or the reader into the frame of my writing. So I always write as if I'm writing to one person only, and I'm thinking about how will my words land, or how will my words land in their heart, because words are emotive. And when you're writing specifically for the your avatar or who you want to reach, it's so important that you're on a level with them. So this isn't necessarily, you might be sharing information and in some ways educating, but not from a hierarchical position. You're actually on a level where you're coming from your heart and connecting with your reader's heart and speaking in such a way where they can feel your words. So that when I say the word feel your words, it's actually they might see your words or hear your words, smell. So it's actually a sensory exploration. It's the six senses. So for me, the words aren't just about the words, it's what's beneath the words, what isn't being said here that can be felt.
Oh, I love that, the chi behind the words, but also the space that is created, hence why pausing between words to give time for that energy to be absorbed or connected. And also sometimes we do use French words like voila. There is no English word for voila. You know, or ciao bella, or genau is a great German word that I love that means exactly. You know, very similar, I guess. But,
I remember actually a box of chocolates that my mum was given. It's just coming into my mind as a child. And they were French, and it was mon chéri. And you know, the beautiful French is a beautiful language, or je t'aime. Just to have those words spoken and felt, and to read them, or to learn another language, or communicate with different words. It's not always around saying the same words, or you can say the same words, but with a different vibration or a different intention.
Exactly. And I think all of the languages are connected with the energy behind them, the energy of the heart. So chi and the heart energy is the universal language. Sense and feeling. So as a coach, for other people to do writing, do you kind of, when people work with you, are you doing the energy work behind it so that they get in alignment, help them get in alignment with their heart, so that they're able to then write from the heart and not from the mind who thinks
for sure. I mean, there are many different levels. So if I'm working with anyone that is an aspiring author, or somebody who wants me to goes right to share their message, or they really just don't know where to start, they know they have a book inside them, or perhaps an unfinished book that's been started. And how I work differently is around the emotions underneath writing. So for many authors that I've worked with so far, they have a great transformational message to share, some of which might be sharing their own story or their own experiences and their own learnings to help other people overcome a problem or a situation. So what I actually do with people is I meet them with where they're at, and I support them on the emotional level to be able to have what I call the output of writing. So there is some what I call practical structuring. We're talking about chapter content, what the message is, who their avatar is, but it's very much working with that person as an individual to support them to let go of what's holding them back. It can quite often be they may feel judged about having their book out there in the public for all to read. It might be around getting started, or as I say, finishing what they've started, but very much using different processes to get their internal energy moving. So there are various methods. There's one method that I use called EMO, which is energy in motion. So if someone's experiencing what might be classically known as writer's block, we just explore, when you think of that block, whereabouts is it in your body? And we're talking about the energy body here. For some people, it might feel actually like it's a physical block, but I'm just working with the energy of the emotion, and actually what emotion might be holding you back from getting into that writer's flow. There's other practical techniques which I use. One of them is future life progression. So I may take the person that I'm working with forward in time, where they're looking back, whether it be 1 year, 3 years, 5 years ahead to now, and actually how did they complete their book. So this is kind of moving beyond what I call the stuckness, or where the energy is stagnant or not flowing. We're actually moving them beyond this time and space. I've also advanced EFT techniques, modern energy tapping, where we are actually using meridian point stimulation. So we might be using some of the classic points that people who are familiar with the classic EFT are aware of. But actually when we use modern energy tapping, we're thinking about, okay, what's the problem here as an author or a writer? And rather than going into that, what I call the root digging and focusing on the negatives, we're actually thinking, okay, so if your writing isn't in flow and you have writer's block, then what's the solution for you? For me, it's joy. You know, to tap on joy, or even to tap on, I love nature and nature energy that grounds me and earths me. So what I have are some very quick, succinct processes that are so easy to pick up and use in the moment. People can take these skills. Once they've learned them, they can take them, whether they're working from a cafe or at the top of the Himalayas somewhere, you know, on a mountain top. They don't want to carry a load of books and bits and bobs in their rucksack. Is all of these techniques, once they're learned, that it becomes part of you. So I class myself really only as a stepstone in someone else's journey. So it would be starting with defining their reader, who are they writing for, and actually where are they at in their journey, what's stopping them, and what do they need to get started. I love it. There's nothing I love better than seeing other people write and self-publish their books, and some going on to have publishing deals if that's the way they want to work.
Oh,
it's magical.
Yeah, you are such a wealth of resource, and I've watched you grow over the years that I've known you, and how it's all developed through you, and you've just followed and trusted. And you recently had a 21-day challenge, which was writing from the heart, back in August, didn't you? How was that? What was
it was amazing. It was actually, you know what, it was I'm absolutely blessed with the group. So I wanted to keep the group number small, so I would be able to respond and actually come from my heart, rather than the group becoming too big and me not giving personal attention. I had close to 100 beautiful, lovely people in the group, and I called this process 21 days to write from your heart, journaling invitation. So I noticed the word you used, challenge, there, and that's a word I kind of picked up on. And I wanted people to feel that this is an invitation that they could take part of, because we all have these different challenges, and people might already going through a challenge might be thinking, oh my goodness, this is another challenge, which may motivate them, or it may, you know, it may.
You're on a really good point here, Wendy, because we want to encourage people, and this word challenge can be something that's putting pressure on. But you're absolutely right; it's just an invitation to come and play.
And it's beautiful. So within that group, and what I did this time, and for anyone who's thinking about, you know, that was my first time with a private Facebook group, and one of my lesser strengths is technology, so I spent days kind of learning what to do and how to put the group together. But what I'm actually doing, thank you, bless you, thank you. What I'm doing this time round is I'm actually writing my book. So while I was running that group, part of the PDFs and the information I shared freely for those members, it was a free group, was actually to write content of my book, but to put some of that content into the PDF. So what I'm doing is I'm writing from my heart as I'm going along, and also engaging and connecting with those people that either want to write a book or know that they need the emotional catharsis before they go on to actually write and publish. And we've had the group is private, so I'm not going to go into the detail of what was shared, but I will just say that people have made some major, I mean, you know, the energy here of recognizing the people in the group is we've had some major shifts going on, and people are going on to have the courage to be who they are, to share from their heart and write their story. So people are beginning to know, you know what, everything is possible, and it is possible for me to write from my heart. And I'm, you know, everyone in that group, I'll be sharing the link with them, is I just want to say thank you, because I'm also learning from the people who are in that group, and anyone I work with. This isn't just about me mentoring or educating someone. I'm learning as much as I go along, you know, as they are. So it's a beautiful reciprocation, and always feel blessed for what I'm learning too.
Oh, bless you, sweetheart, for what you're bringing through. Oh, I could talk to you for ages. Come back again. How can people find out more about what you have to offer?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. My website is wendyfry.com. They can find me there. Anyone who would like to perhaps join the next writing invitation, I'll be starting another one in 2020. And anyone who would like to join the mailing list, I don't have a sign up box on there. If anyone wants to find out more, they can email me, let me know where they're at. But the support programs, and there's also some free downloads on that site. The information from both of my books are on there for people to check out, and just go straight into those free downloads if they'd like to.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much. Now we have one. You're welcome. Such a joy. We're going to do, you have chosen a track to share with people, haven't you? And we have absolutely wonderfully, you're going to be able to hear this on podcast, because once Tea Time goes to podcast, we have to cull the tunes because of copyright. But with this one, we have permission from the writer and performer to play it for you. So can you introduce it and tell us why you've chosen it?
Yeah, I love this track. and Rob Hulford has created Beautiful Life. This track is very special, and we are all blessed to be alive in this life, in time and space, and this music piece really supports me to write from my heart. So thank you, Rob, and giving us permission to share your work and your heart.
Thank you. And you can find out more about Rob Hulford, that's HULFORD.com. This track, Beautiful Life, is introduced wonderfully by Wendy there, is off his third album that is going to be due out this autumn, but you can actually hear it on his on his website, so it's an absolute thrill. And when I played it as well earlier, I just felt exactly what you said. It's a wonderful one to write to because it's calming and soothing, but there's also energy in there.
Yeah.
And it hasn't got any words to distract you, but you can almost hear the playfulness of sound that's encouraging that coming through you. So thank you so much for choosing that tune, Wendy, and thank you for sharing all your beautiful wisdom and wit with us here on Tea Time.
Thank you, Clara. Always a pleasure.
We'll see you again soon. So enjoy this track by Rob Hulford. Yes, here on Tea Time. Keep it tuned, my friends. Thank you so much for listening.